Could you say something about the latest research progress?
Yes, Ron. So what we announced today is that for the first time in human history, a brain-computer interface was paired with our implanted spinal cord stimulation platform called ARC-IM to restore movement in the hands, arms, and fingers after spinal cord injury.
And is this only possible for people who could walk before, or also with born spinal cord problems?
Yes, so in the past, back in May of this year, for example, there was a lot of coverage, in fact, even here on Analist.nl, that we helped a person walk again with the power of thought. And here we paired a brain-computer interface with spinal cord stimulation to enable the ability to walk again. What happened today, the newly announced information, is we've taken that same approach, implanted a brain-computer interface with a spinal cord stimulation system to help a paralyzed person recover hand, arm, and finger function. And often, among people who have paralysis, their top priority is restoring hand and arm function, because we use our hands so much for activities of daily life, like picking up a fork or a glass of water, or typing, or manipulating a computer mouse. So improvements in hand and arm function really make a difference in a person's independence, quality of life, and so forth.
Okay, and can, for example, an injured guy then also use all his fingers and also feel his skin again, like normal situation?
Yeah, so you're discussing what we call sensation, and many of our therapies do have the promise to restore sensation. The first therapy that we're expecting to commercialize is with our ARC-EX device, which is our external spinal cord stimulator, which I'm holding here. And this we expect to commercialize the second half of next year. And one of the things we looked at in the pivotal study is, can we restore strength and function, but also sensation?
Okay, and is this product quite good scalable? I mean, could it be used for different kinds of levels of spinal cord injuries, like minor ones, also bigger ones?
Yeah, indeed. This device, again, the first one we'll commercialize, we studied it across a range of injury severities, we call it. And same thing with our implantable platform that I'm holding up here. This has also been studying across a range of injury severities. In fact, last year, there was a paper study published in the journal Nature, which is the world's preeminent science journal, showing that even people with the most severe forms of spinal cord injury, no motor function or sensation, could stand and walk again in a limited fashion with the benefit of this stimulation. When we talk about the addition of the brain-computer interface, at this point, we're using a brain-computer interface developed in France that is relatively non-invasive. It sits on top of the motor cortex, and indeed on top of the lining of the brain. So it's, again, a less invasive procedure, and we're hopeful that eventually we can commercialize this at scale for the benefit of people all over the world who have spinal cord injury. And we do much of our research in the Benelux. Some of the clinics who've participated in our clinical trials include St. Martin's Clinic in Nijmegen and also Rita Clinic in Amsterdam.
Okay, and is there a big difference for patients who, for example, had an accident last week or 30 years ago? Is it the same kind of procedure for you?
Well, so what typically happens, Ronald, is somebody has a spinal cord injury. They undergo emergency surgery, and then they enter rehabilitation. And that rehabilitation lasts between 6 weeks and maybe 3 months. And then they tend to stop because their progress plateaus. They stop making progress with today's available therapies. And this is the problem we're trying to address. We want to introduce therapies that can help people even long after their injury. And in the pivotal trial that we conducted for this device, including in the Netherlands, the average age, or the average time since injury, was around 6 years. So we demonstrated that this therapy could restore strength and function in a large percentage of the participants, even years after an injury. That's what's so new and novel about these therapies. And that's why we have, at this point, 9 FDA Breakthrough Device Designation Awards and over 360 issued or pending patents. These are really innovative therapies that we just haven't seen before elsewhere.
Okay, and is it a big influence the age of a person? For example, a person of 80 or of 20, is it a big difference for the success of this operation?
Well, it's certainly easier for people who are younger to recover. And that's just the case. That's the function of how we age. However, we do have a broad range of ages in the pivotal trial for our external device. So far with the brain-computer interface, there have only been 2 people, and they've both been males around, say, 40 to 45 years of age. But in the future, when this is broadly commercial, we hope to commercialize and make it available at scale. Certainly, it's easier for young people to benefit, but we think people of all ages can benefit. Kids, though, under 18 whose spinal cords are still growing are more likely to benefit from the external system because we don't want to implant them with something that doesn't grow along with them as they get taller.
Okay, and on what term could this product be scalable for the masses?
Well, this device we expect to commercialize by the end of next year, so the second half of next year. This device, I would say, is going to be available by 2026 or so. And this device, along with the brain-computer interface, could be available by the end of the decade.
You mean in US and Europe, or also outside?
US and Europe. We're based in Europe, even though I'm American, and it's our intent to commercialize in the US and Europe.
Okay, and if this product is finished, what other projects are you working on? Could this be improved further?
Well, we have these 2 technology platforms that I've shown here on screen, and with just minor modifications to the software, we can use these hardware platforms to address a number of different challenges that people have after a spinal cord injury. Things such as they have a difficulty going to the bathroom without inserting a catheter. They have a loss of sexual function. They have a lot of blood pressure instability. It's our vision to use these hardware platforms to address all of these challenges that people face after a spinal cord injury. It's really a very difficult injury.
And how would you offer this to the big markets? Will you then cooperate with big corporations like Pfizer, for example?
At this point, we believe that we can stay independent. The people who have spinal cord injury are cared for in a limited number of specialized clinics. For example, I think there are around 13 in the Netherlands. And if we focus on those clinics, then we think we can stay independent. This is not a situation like a Pfizer where we have to reach hundreds of thousands of physicians worldwide. We have to reach a concentrated group of specialists who really devoted their careers to helping people with paralysis.
Okay. Could you say something about the financial situation of the company? Something about perspective on the cash flows or potential dividends in the future?
Yeah, indeed. So we're pre-commercial. We don't have revenue yet. We expect revenue the second part of next year. We just had our earnings call last week. We announced that we had almost 44 million euros in cash. So we still have a strong cash position. And we're going to look for ways to continue to strengthen that position over the course of the next several quarters.
Okay, and what are your expectations for the future? Will you also do other big projects outside the spinal cord, or will it for now be your core business?
We think, Ronald, there's a huge potential market here treating people with paralysis after spinal cord injury, maybe people who have movement disabilities from Parkinson's and stroke. There's a lot we can focus on, over 100 billion euros of available market. So we're going to stick to this area where we have an absence of competition, where we have, as I said before, over 360 issued or pending patents, and where there's a big unmet need. And so this is the place where we think we can be differentiated and special and make a difference and build a successful and enduring business.
Okay, Dave Marver, thanks for the interview.
Thank you, Ronald. Pleasure to be with you and your audience.